Okay, so, hey, beautiful people, how's it going? I'm one of your hosts, Michael Wright.
And I'm Nick D'Angeli, and welcome back to the Doesn't Make the Cut podcast. We're an Indigenous film TV review podcast that you can only watch on YouTube, listen on Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We would like to acknowledge we're bringing this podcast to you from the traditional unceded Coast Salish territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations of what is known as Vancouver. We raise our hands and thank our Coast Salish relatives for allowing us to live, work, and podcast in their traditional territory.
If you like what you hear, please consider dropping a like, subscribe to us, leave a comment, share. You have no idea how much that helps the channel. And without further ado, and now we are reviewing Kenobi. Right, so I think at this point, we'll probably just go balls deep into spoilers because I'm pretty sure people are watching it at this point. Okay, so yeah, so it's funny, like right at midnight, I sometimes want to see like a rating of the episode, and so far this one is the worst one by some people's standards. I thought it was fine. I thought it was all right. There were a few things. There were a few issues with the episode, but for the most part, I did like it. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Maybe the hate was overhyped, but maybe that's just me.
This episode 4, man, to me, this was a major step back from what we saw in episode 3. Mostly, it just had to do with the writing and the editing. And it's really unfortunate because, like, this really could have been much better for what they really did have going on. Yeah. But yeah, I could see it from all standpoints, and I don't know, man. A lot of this stuff was just the editing. Is a lot of the background stuff, and some of the writing was a little cringe. Some of that, and I think a lot of the stuff really was between Leia and Reva.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
No, it was a by the numbers, that scene. Like, we've seen that scene play out dozens of times already, and we know, like, at the end of it, someone's going to pull her away, so you're right. Some of the writing is cliched, and unfortunately, I think I will have to blame Lucasfilms and the higher-ups because they did want rewrites for Deborah Chow's original vision. So I'm not going to completely falter on this one, but it is a shame that their fuckery is slowly creeping into what we love.
It is, man, and especially this close to the season ending as well, with only 2 more episodes left, and this one, yeah, I think this one was the lowest rating for myself, like, personally. I don't know, man. It started off really, really good. Seeing Kenobi go into like the back to tank and him and Vader having that Force connection. Mm-hmm. But then, some parts were good, but then I don't know, man. It was just like it's really mixed bag, especially the ending. I think just towards the end, like the last maybe good 10 minutes, where I think you can just tell when someone else was involved with the story, because it just didn't really quite connect,
It didn't make the cut.
Yeah, this episode did not make the cut.
It was, well, first of all, it was too damn short. We were promised hour-long episodes. This was the shortest one by far. So it is a shame. And once again, it's funny. Like, I had a debate about someone about Reva on this one. She hogs quite a bit of the spotlight, and that's not to say Obi-Wan didn't have his moments. He held off the entire weight of the ocean with the Force. That shit's awesome, but my complaint is that a lot of fighting over the spotlight, and Reva one's that's like a broken record at this point. It really shouldn't be Reva to be the main antagonist here. It really should have been Vader.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, man. Like, it just comes across as just very misleading for, Obi-Wan's story, and the fact that the main focus of the show, like, it's tough because on paper, even like with the trailers as well, like, you would think it'd be the story basically writes itself. You have Obi-Wan and you have Vader. Where they find their route, you're absolutely right. Like, you shouldn't. Yeah, it just it you just think, man, it does write itself. I don't know why it's becoming so overcomplicated. And in the like in our previous talks about this, in the previous episodes about this series, is that it has nothing to do with like the performance. I just really feel like it just has to do with the direction, with the writing, and really as well with the editing, because I think that's another thing that we've been sharing as well, is like a lot of this stuff with the editing is very choppy, and it's very noticeable.
I'm not sure if they just rushed through production, and because of that, they just had to cut these shots and just move on to the next scene or the next episode or what have you. At this point, like especially like this late in the game, this episode really is subpar, and like we have massive expectations. We've been wanting Kenobi for years. We finally got it, and for the most part, I didn't. For the most part, I am enjoying myself, but
Mm.
I also know that Deborah Chow had a different vision in mind, but it was meddled. And if people are disappointed, then yes, absolutely, go ahead and voice your concerns and tell the execs at Lucasfilms to piss off and let the creators do the creative work. You hired them for a reason.
Exactly. No, exactly, man. And like, yeah, like you did hire them for a reason, to create a vision, and it's tough because especially nowadays, it gets very well known throughout just anything, whether it's like a big franchise or whatnot, that you can tell when the studios get involved. I mean, fuck, I mean, Justice League, the whole entire like half of the DC stuff, and a lot of the things with Star Wars. I mean, we see it all the time, especially when it comes to like writers and directors being in, then you know being out. Like, it's tough, and it's you know man, it sucks because we do have these expectations. We do have these things that we're really looking forward to as a fan base, as just overall lovers of film and movies, and just the stories and the franchises. And it just fucking sucks when they just get you know ripped in half. It's hard, man. It's so hard.
It's a bad episode when I'm trying to recall what happened. Like, a lot happened, but at the same time, nothing happened. If that makes sense. Like, what I thought. Okay, first of all, at the end of the episode, one of the pilot dies, and his wingman, woman, um, kept yelling out, "Oh, Wade, Wade, Wade!" And like, who the hell's Wade? Why the hell should I care? So
It felt like things could have yeah, and the reaction afterwards. I guess if we had a little bit more screen time of the character to get to know them a little bit, the the loss would have been a little bit more impactful on our end.
yeah,
But dude, let's talk about that climactic scene real quick, because by far, because there were some good moments. We can touch on them after. I just feel like I need to get this shit out.
All right, do it. Do it.
So
Good.
the
Let
coverage.
the hate flow through you.
Oh man, dude, turn me to the dark side, dude. And it's so funny too, because I was like, through the Kenobi series so far, I'm just like, yeah, it's been good, makes the cut. And then I watched this one and I'm just like, oh fuck. But, so the coverage. So I had to write these notes down to just get them. I had to just get some notes written down on this. So I have the coverage on the exit when they were exiting in the climactic scene. I felt it was just very poorly executed. And dude, it was mostly due to the fact that the extras in the background, and I know it's the screens, the electric or what are they called, the LED screens that they have right now. I know it has to do with those, because the reactions of everyone in the background. I don't know. Maybe it's because I really pay attention a lot to the people around the background, because a lot of times they do some really cool or interesting or very absurd things, but they're trying to escape. So we have Obi-Wan, Leia, and what's her name? Tila?
Tala, I think.
Tala, escaping, and we see the Inquisitor Reva and the other Inquisitors trying to find them, and Reva's telling them to stop them, and they see, but in people the background are just walking like it's a normal ass day. And in my head, I was watching it, and it was so distracting, because I don't know, they're all troopers and things like that. Like if you saw like your main, one of your bosses, like, seeing these people that are not supposed to be there, but they're just walking like it's a fucking Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was sitting there and I was literally thinking, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? And then having Leia around Obi-Wan's jacket there, and it was just so laughable. I was just laughing because it was just so fucking weird. And I don't know, it just made the environment feel very small, and it didn't feel. I think that's also too, when they did lose that pilot there, that everything else just felt very. I don't know. It just didn't. It just didn't work. It just didn't work.
It didn't work. Which in this case, I think no. I want to balance off what you're saying. At the end of the day, the name of the show is called Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, and which in this case, if there's this many stormtroopers, there's this many, if they're cornered like this, and Obi-Wan is a master on Form 4. Like, what I would like to see, like, more lightsaber action, and Obi-Wan being Obi-Wan, using the Force, Force pushing people away, and hitting motherfuckers down. But it's a very lackluster episode, and that's not to say that there's still some redeeming qualities here. Example, Obi-Wan being basically being Solid Snake and sneaking around the base here, which, first of all, okay, I'm going a million miles a minute here. I like that a lot, where we see Obi-Wan doing some espionage shit here. So that I like. What I don't believe, and and I know, like, the Empire is hubris in this way, but surely they have some kind of defense, some kind of like patrol going around, because they're not that dumb and to think that they're completely infallible.
That's exactly what I mean, man. Where it just like it just creates the environment of making it look like this was just shot in a studio.
Yeah.
You didn't feel like you were there. And the places and the locations that they had in prior episodes, where the environment, yeah, did feel there, but um, you would, yeah, like their systems, their all the troops that they have there, like um, yeah, it just made it feel very small. But yeah, I mean there were some pretty like enjoyable things, despite you know a lot of stuff that we've been saying. There were some things I did take away, and I did fairly enjoy. I don't know. Was there anything in there that you can recall that you?
Some of the acting's great. Like the actress
Mm-hmm.
for Tala, she's no, she's great. Like it's really sad that this character who probably had far less screen time than Andor is more interesting than Andor, and Andor is getting a show of his own.
Yeah, yeah, no, her performance was really well done. I really enjoyed, her and Kenobi's their relationship and things like that, and it's been, yeah, especially the scene where she was being interrogated by Riva. Like I thought that was really well done as well.
She holds her own, and I'm not sure why Riva just didn't use the Force to see what was on her mind. Either that, or it's just really bad writing where she's like, "Oh, I wonder what she knows," and I don't know. You're obviously lying. Like sometimes the Force wielders are forget that they have the Force.
Yeah, even though she just tried doing that to Leia like moments before that.
That I like. Like it shows just how strong Leia is, especially for someone so young.
I gotta say, like, the actress who plays Leia is done really, really an amazing job. Especially like considering like looking at it younger, like she really pulls it off, and that's
Yeah.
that's really awesome, especially with her age as well. I mean, if she's that damn talented now, I mean, just imagine her in like 10, 15 years. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, she's basically the maybe the next L. Yeah. Speaking of talent, I feel like O'Shea Jackson Jr. was just there, like anyone could have played that role. So
Dude, man, I was dead wrong, man. I was dead wrong.
yeah, like which yeah, which is kind of a shame. Like he just showed up, like he was just there, like and like anyone could have played this role. Like I feel for O'Shea here, where like I'm pretty sure he was excited that he's going to be in a Star Wars franchise, just
Oh
to find
yeah.
out like that was that was his contribution. So
That's too bad. He really, you're absolutely right. Like just being a part of a Star Wars. I mean, because that's really like for me as an actor. That's definitely one of my dream roles. Is to just get into anything Star Wars. Just knowing that he was in this show, I thought, oh man, I thought he was gonna play like a Jedi or something, man. And yeah, I mean, his story arc does look pretty interesting, and the fact that he did call Obi-Wan General, that just
oh
speaks
yeah.
to how he knows of Obi-Wan there.
Yeah, so unfortunately, there's not a lot to say about this episode aside from the gripes that we had. It's a weird mix of a lot happened, but at the same time, nothing really meaningful has happened. This should have been like the end of season 2 of Mandalorian, where it's like there's a lot of build up to this rescue, and Obi-Wan has to rally forces, and he has to reclaim his title as a Jedi. And which in this case, if it would have been awesome to see whether if Ahsoka joins or like a few clone troopers, hell, like even Cody, like if like, like Obi-Wan's main dude in the Clone Wars, that would have been awesome to see. Like these guys just raid this empire, this fortress. It makes me nervous of what's going to happen the next few episodes, because right now, like, it sticks out like a sore thumb just how much of a mess the next few episodes might be.
It is going to be very interesting to see where we're going to pick up from this. I mean, especially now knowing that Riva did place a tracker on them, what's going to come out of that. But yeah, I really, this was taking a step back, but I really do hope that, we still have 2 more episodes, that they can end on a high note, still having the good thought into that. But if it doesn't, then it's unfortunate. But I mean, there were a couple things I did take out of this episode, though. Obi-Wan himself connecting back with the Force again, and able to use, we saw a little bit of lightsaber action, which was pretty dope. Yeah, like you said earlier, like him force pushing the ocean using the glass. I thought that was really cool. And just seeing his overall journey, coming back in the light as a Jedi. I feel like those factors were there. It was just everything else outside of it that didn't quite connect, and I hope, yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see just where we go from here, and it was nice too seeing a callback from the Jedi video game too, because isn't there a similar scene from that, when Obi-Wan was like swimming to the base? I saw videos that it was relating to the video game too, callbacks.
Yeah, there's also a few other Easter eggs in there too, like some fan service to those who watch Clone Wars. The Jedi Master that Ahsoka was with, what's his name? Master Terra Sinube.
Oh yeah.
So he's there on display. Really sad. He's a fun character. Yeah, he's the coolest description I could say about him is that he's kind of like the wise old grandpa that's always telling the grandchildren to slow down. So
yeah. Oh man, that little the tomb area, that was really sad seeing him in there. And I was trying to see. Oh, and then we saw a youngling in there as well, and yeah, it was like a pretty dark tomb. They were all just like frozen there, and yeah, I didn't quite recognize anyone else in there, but they could have been former Jedi as well.
you might be right. There's a few blink and you miss it cameos right there. Rating for the first time on the show: rough cut. This is rough cut material, right down to the script, right down to the editing. This, unfortunately, the final act of the series, it needed some major rewrites. Unfortunately, it might really affect the show. I am actually really nervous of how the next episodes are going to be. So I'm just going to have to play it by ear and really hope that they just turn it right around and just say, shut up. The whole thing was set up, so just be patient.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Mike. This is definitely a rough cut material here, which is equivalent to a 4 or 5 star rating. Yeah, there could have been so much potential to this. Unfortunately, whatever did happen, it just some of the story elements that we got were decent. There were like we said, some nice callbacks to the video game and to the animated series. Vader did look pretty intimidating. But being so close to the season finale and the shortest episode yet, this just didn't make the cut.
It did not. And, well, anyways, you made it this far. First of all, thank you. So, as per usual, give us a like, comment, subscribe, share. You have no idea how much that helps the channel. And, yeah, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the next one. And if you enjoy this podcast and if you want to follow us up on some other socials as well, we have our Instagram at Doesn't Make the Cut. But yeah, if you want to catch me, it's at Nick D'Angeli, and as well, yeah, that Doesn't Make the Cut on YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram.